right, guys, there's not a lot of difference between last week's standard and this week's standard. So we went from RL to RI. So transitioning into informational text. So explain how specific images contribute to and clarify a text. So of course, explain is describe. Contribute, the words I pulled from there: add to, enrich, clear up, supply slash give additional info. That all came from the clarification document. So we want to make sure that we use all of those words because we could see any of that in a question. How does the image enrich the text? Clarify, there's an arrow drawn from clarify to clear up because that's what clarify does. It's clearing up any kind of misunderstanding. And obviously we all know what text is. I just denoted books, photographs, films, articles, music, and art only because that is what is specifically listed in that clarification document. As you move into academic vocabulary and the verbs, images came directly from the standard, but then in purple, photographs, illustrations, charts, diagrams, graphs, and map. Map was not in the second grade clarification document, but it is in the third grade clarification document. We want to make sure that we show all of, sorry about that. We want to make sure that we show all of those examples, even if it's not an elaborate lesson, just show them what each one looks like. And then of course, text we already talked about. Then with verbs, we have explain and describe, and then contribute, enrich, clarify, organize, supply. Those words in purple all came from that clarification document. And then it seems that the clarification document always gives two things that should be done, and to me that's given a very clear hint on this is something that they could see later on. So the first one is something that we're probably all doing anyway: model to think aloud regarding the visuals, share what the image conveys. So just sharing with them what our brain is saying while we're looking at it. But then more specifically, and I liked this one because this is something that could be done in stations when they're not with you, after it's already been explained, and then you can know what they understand and how they're processing it without actually being in front of them. So they mark the visuals in a text with a sticky note, but the visuals that are being marked are ones that are specifically useful information about the key ideas. So they're not marking every visual, they're just marking the ones that are useful. In green over there to the side, it says, is it for explanatory purposes or aesthetic purposes? That part comes from the third grade clarification document. So I think it's important to go ahead and expose those students to those words and that thought process. Is it there to explain? Is it there purely to look pretty? If it's there purely to look pretty, is it truly giving us information, or is it just to enhance the text? Sometimes there may be things there that don't even appear to be very relevant. They've got to process through that and figure out what works and what's real and why it's there and what needs to be tossed. But so the students mark with the sticky notes the visuals that provide useful information, but then on those sticky notes they annotate their reasoning. They explain their reasoning about how the visual supported their understanding. What did that visual do for them? So again, after you've presented that and shown them what to do, they can go do that with a book, and you never have to be with them, but you can see their thinking and know that they do or do not understand what's really going on. So I hope that helps, guys.